Breaking news coming in from Pakistan in what appears to be more shambolic action against designated global terrorist Hafiz Saeed. Pakistan has announced the cancelling of licenses of 44 weapons issued to the Lashkar-e-Taiba or the Jamaat-ud-Dawa chief Hafiz Mohammad Saeed and other members of his organizations, citing security reasons. On the 30th of January, Pakistan had put Hafiz Saeed and 4 other terrorist supporters of Jamaat-ud-Dawa and Falah-e-Insaniyat Foundation under house arrest in Lahore for a period of up to 90 days. But no word from Pakistan on prosecuting Hafiz Saeed or putting him in jail, despite mounting evidence given by Government of India on his direct role in the 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks. Pakistan is in the line of international fire for being a state sponsor of terror. To deflect pressure, Pakistan has resorted to shambolic and cosmetic action against a designated global terrorist, Hafiz Mohammad Saeed. A sham house arrest, sham seizing of accounts or cancelling of licenses of weapons. Hafiz Saeed is still in touch with the entire Lashkar-e-Taiba terror machinery. The Jamaat-ud-Dawa and the Falah-e-Insaniyat Foundation are still learned to be collecting funds. They were seen in action after the Lahore terror strike. And no terror organization, anyone in the world knows that, no terror organization works using licensed weapons. So what's the point of cancelling his license? No legal case is being built against Hafiz Saeed. No evidence is being collected. Pakistan's Defense Minister Khwaja Asif calls Saeed an anti-social element or at worst a potential facilitator of terror. The mastermind of 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks is only a potential threat for Pakistan's Defense Minister Khwaja Asif.
In the past, they had some sort of license to move around and license to continue with their work, which was not really terrorist related, but they could be dangerous to our own society. So we have taken some stern actions against them, and we intend to, put them to test, or you can say we intend to bring them to legal framework, whereby these people are not free to operate. The organizations they were heading, they are not free to operate.
Under intense international scrutiny, Pakistan has suddenly changed Hafiz Mohammad Saeed's status from a social worker and preacher to being a potential threat, even as the terror mastermind and ideologue considers floating his own political party.
These are known organizations which have been banned in the past, like Lashkar-e-Taiba or Jamaat-ud-Dawa. These organizations in the past were connected indirectly with the terrorist attacks within Pakistan and outside Pakistan. But our resolve, as I said earlier, to combat terrorism and to finish terrorism, especially in our own country and in Afghanistan.
Watch Pakistan Defense Minister Khwaja Asif's doublespeak as he scuttles questions on a clear roadmap on Hafiz Saeed's prosecution. Khwaja Asif also stays mum on credible action to dismantle the military jihad terror nexus that bleeds India. Pakistan continues to play a twin terror game. The sham house arrest of Hafiz Saeed is to hoodwink the world, even as it uses its ally China to continue with a double game at the United Nations on another terror mastermind, Maulana Masood Azhar of Jaish-e-Mohammed. But it's not just Maulana Masood Azhar. All terror chiefs roam fearlessly and freely in Pakistan. From Hizbul Mujahideen terrorist Sayyid Salahuddin to Lashkar-e-Taiba Zakir Rahman Lakwi and India's most wanted and designated global terror financer Dawood Ibrahim Kaskar. Pakistan has been playing its Hafiz games since he was put under a sham house arrest after the attack on the Indian Parliament in December 2001, again after Mumbai train attacks in 2006 and the 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks. Just last week, the Anti-Terror Act was also slapped on him. But reports filtering in from Pakistan indicate that the terror mastermind continues to control his terror network from his residence. The new terrorist organization, now called Tehreek-e-Azadi Kashmir. With bureau inputs, Gaurav Sawant, India Today. Sadly, India is infamous for lack of consistency in our Pakistan policy. Many argue, do we even have a Pakistan policy? Member of Parliament Rajeev Chandrasekhar has relentlessly been campaigning for declaring those countries a state sponsor of terror who bleed Indians. Pakistan has done so for 70 years and yet the government's response is rather lukewarm. I spoke to Rajeev Chandrasekhar, who admitted being disappointed by the government's response or the lack of it. And joining me now for more on this big story is Member of Parliament Rajeev Chandrasekhar, the man with that bill to declare countries like Pakistan a state sponsor of terror. Rajeev Chandrasekhar, how do you see this development? Is this a flip-flop by the government? Is this a weak-kneed response by the government?
No, I mean, obviously I think it is not unfair to say I am disappointed, or that many thousands of Indians and millions of Indians rather who were looking forward to a debate in Parliament and hearing different people put their points of view, hearing about the government's view on this. So I'm a little disappointed, but having said that, Gaurav, governments have access to information and data and facts about what Pakistan proposes to do and what Pakistan is intending to do more than I have, and maybe even
Yes.
even you. So I would give the benefit of the doubt to the government. I think they have said what they have to say, but the basic essence of this bill, basic objective of this bill was to start a debate in Parliament, and for the people of India to see what parliamentarians are saying about the relationship that India and Pakistan should have, because it will be the first time that Parliament is debating this since 1994.
Okay, so a debate in Parliament on the 9th of March, in your opinion, should the government have come forward, the Home Minister, the External Affairs Minister, the Defence Minister, the Prime Minister of this country, because who knows Pakistan's state-sponsored terror in India more than government of India, and those in the hot seat, their attitude should be far more strict, far more stern. Instead of Pakistan's verbal commitments, we should see written or actually factual move on ground before we give Pakistan the benefit of doubt, sir.
No, Gaurav, I think what you are saying today and the sense of anger that you have is something that I have heard, and it's been shared with me by thousands and hundreds of thousands of Indians all around the country. The general desire of the people of India to a man and a woman without any ambiguity is to, in a sense, move away from the status quo approach towards Pakistan and redefine that relationship as a relationship that has both a carrot and a stick. But a stick is as important as a carrot in the minds of most Indians, and including observers such as yourself and myself. So I think unless I can only explain this government statement as coming from the recent actions of Pakistan vis-a-vis Hafiz Saeed, and some knowledge about Pakistan probably changing its strategy towards aiding, abetting and fostering terrorism that it was in the last many years. So is Pakistan really changing, or is this another tactical retreat?
Syed Mohammad Tariq Pirzada joins us from Pakistan. He's a defense analyst. Major Gaurav Arya, a defense expert, joins me in our studio here in India. Tariq Pirzada, how do you explain Pakistan now calling Hafiz Saeed a potential facilitator of terror? Remember earlier, Pakistan called him a charity worker or a religious preacher. How has he become a terrorist for you now?
Hello?
Mr. Pirzada, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but the voice quality is not good. Let me try to answer. Could you ask your question one more time?
Tariq Pirzada, how has your country changed its stance from a charity worker? How come Hafiz Saeed is a terrorist for you today?
Well, I have an explanation for that, and you'll be very amused by that. You know, I went through the text of the so-called sanctions committee, UNSC sanctions committee on terrorism, and I read the whole document pertaining to the resolution. As a result of that, you know, these so-called sanctions have been, you know, implemented by Pakistan. You know, the government of Nawaz Sharif has been wishy-washy on the issue of its relations with India in the past, but looks like Mr. Nawaz Sharif himself is now in cahoots with Mr. Narendra Modi, and so he has decided to comply with something he didn't have to comply. For example, the resolution of 2008, under which Mr. Hafiz Saeed was declared to be associated with certain organizations like Al-Qaeda or being associated with supporting the Taliban, and India was never a part of that charge, by the way. So India is not a part of the contents of resolution.
I am very amused. You're waffling. You don't have a response. Has your government changed? Has the government changed? Gaurav Arya, Major Arya, has Pakistan government changed? Just this morning there was an encounter at the LC and a terrorist was killed. Weapons and ammunition were recovered. Night vision devices were recovered.
No, I'll tell you, Gaurav, what has happened is that Mr. Pirzada, just hold on 1 second. Pirzada sahab, hold on. Hold on, Pirzada sahab, hold on. Now, what has happened is that when there was this unfortunate attack on the shrine of Lal Shahbaz Qalandar, in which 80 plus people died in Sindh, in Sevan, Pakistan suddenly, within 24 hours, killed 100 militants. Okay, they probably had a court of law which sentenced 100 militants to death overnight. All right. So Pakistan does not need the law. Pakistan does not need rules when they are under attack. But for Hafiz Saeed, who's the mastermind behind 2611, it's been so many years and Pakistan has not been able to find proof.
Tariq Pirzada, on my show, we don't speak on top of each other. Tariq Pirzada, hear me out. Sir, hear me out. Don't rant. Tariq Pirzada Saab, don't rant. Don't rant, for heaven's sake. Hear me out. Tariq Pirzada, has there been a change of heart in Pakistan or no longer making a distinction between good and bad terrorists, especially after 10 terrorist attacks?
By the government of Nawaz Sharif, then he does not represent the people of Pakistan. Not that I understand. I don't understand why this has happened. But he does not represent. He's an impugned prime minister. He's facing corruption charges and he's about to be ousted.
This is hilarious. An elected prime minister, you say, does not represent the will of people of Pakistan. You're actually amusing this evening.
No,
you're very amusing.
No, Gaurav, I'd like to come in here.
Yes.
Mr. Tariq Pirzada, you said that he does not represent the will of the people. It's right. In a country where the civilian dispensation has been toppled 4 times by martial law, by the army, obviously you will not understand small minor things like democracy. They are alien to your culture. All right. You're saying Nawaz Sharif is under pressure because of Panama Gate. What has Panama Gate got to do with Hafiz Saeed? Can you please explain?
Okay.
The whole train was burned alive.
Okay. No, but Gaurav Arya, Pakistan has cancelled Hafiz Saeed's weapons license, put him under this so-called house arrest. Can Pakistan, should Pakistan be given the benefit of doubt?
Absolutely not. They're a bunch of liars. It's a nation full of liars. They said that Hafiz Saeed is an NGO worker. What is Hafiz Saeed, an NGO worker? A person who works for the benefit of mankind, who's so large-hearted and soft-hearted, doing with 44 automatic weapons. Can Pakistan government answer that? It's just a sham. They are just trying to protect themselves. They are a terrorist nation. And I'll tell you, Hafiz Saeed, this whole thing about Hafiz Saeed's arrest, it's only temporary, just to deflect pressure. He will come back again stronger because the Pakistan army cannot do without Hafiz Saeed.
No, but 10 terror attacks in 10 days. More than 100 Pakistanis killed. Apart from the attack in Sindh, there's been one in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa just this morning. Now, of course, that's a different story. That Pakistan army has gone and massacred more than 100 people, not just in Pakistan's Northwest Frontier province, but also along the Pakistan-Afghanistan border. So, will the Pakistan army reform, Major Gaurav Arya?
No, not at all.
Hear me out. Did that country did not even reform after 150 children were massacred at Army Public School Peshawar. So they are unlikely to reform ever.
Gaurav, this is a country. See, we are not dealing with a country. We are dealing with a mindset here. The Pakistan army came out with a national action plan which was put through their Senate. What happened to the national action plan? It fell flat. This country is hemorrhaging from terrorism. But they will not let go of these so-called good terrorists because there is an Indian psychosis in their mind. As long as they believe, as long as the Pakistani army believes at the core of their being, at the core of their spirit and heart, that these people are useful against the Indian army. Let their children die. Let their people be massacred in mosques. They do not care. The Pakistani civilian counts for nothing as far as the strategic depth of the Pakistani army is concerned.
And there's one thing that the world needs to realize, there's one thing that our political leadership also needs to realize, that it's not just India that's hitting out at Pakistan-sponsored terror. Ashraf Ghani, President Ashraf Ghani of Afghanistan, he hit out at Pakistan-sponsored terror at the Munich Security Conference. Let's just listen in to President Ghani, where he accused Pakistan of waging undeclared war on Afghanistan. Let's listen in.
Yes, we're fighting. But the fight is a complex one, and I'd like to again restate, this is not a civil war. It's a drug war, it's a terrorist war, and it's also a state-to-state undeclared war. The multiplicity of these dimensions require clarity so we can all focus on terrorism.
Afghanistan is a victim of Pakistan-sponsored terror. So is India. But Major Gaurav Arya, there's far more clarity in the way Afghanistan is responding to this, because Afghanistan's president in no uncertain terms says this is state-to-state undeclared war. We should say the same.
Absolutely. It's surprising that why we have not done it. You know, you just mentioned Rajeev Chandrasekhar's bill in Parliament. I think the government should, with all urgency, look at this bill. If Afghanistan can do it, if Afghanistan can find the will and the spine to do it, a country like India, which hopes to sit at the high table of the United Nations, which calls itself an emerging superpower, if it cannot declare Pakistan a terrorist state, then I'm sorry to say that we have failed before we have even started.
And that is where is the main problem, Major Arya, because this is where government after government, whether it's the Congress or the BJP or any other government that's been in power since 1947, we don't call a spade a spade. We don't hit out at Pakistan-sponsored terror. We want the world to declare Pakistan a terrorist state, but we are scared to do so ourselves.
Absolutely. Unless we take care of our own house, we help ourselves, nobody's going to help us. You see, the world will fall behind India. The world will support India the day the world sees India standing up on its own 2 feet. We don't want to declare Pakistan a terrorist state. We want to be goody-goody. I don't know what we want from Pakistan or what Pakistan can offer us. But unless we declare Pakistan a terrorist state, it's not going to happen. Let us first take that first step. Let us be courageous. Let us declare Pakistan a terrorist state. America will fall behind you.
Let's at least debate this in Parliament. Government hiding behind facades of following the Geneva Convention and having diplomatic relations, continue to have diplomatic relations. That hasn't stopped. Neither the Geneva Convention nor diplomatic relations have stopped Pakistan from bleeding India year after year, decade after decade, from 1947 till 2017. Why does that prevent India from calling out Pakistan-sponsored terror? We will continue to track the story very closely. Major Gaurav Arya and Tariq Pirzada, for the moment, many thanks for joining me on this India First show. That is all that I have time for you on this debate. But this war on Pakistan-sponsored terror, creating awareness that will continue. We will continue to keep India first.